Now I'm going to take you through an example of how to factor a trinomial like this one that has more than one variable. You'll notice as we go through it, it's really not that much different than doing the other examples we have videos of here. The first thing that we're going to do, as before, is take the first term and last term and go ahead and multiply those together. 3x squared times negative 14y squared is going to give me negative 42x squared y squared. More variables than we had before, but really not that much different of a procedure. As we did, we want to break this up into two separate parts that will multiply together to give us negative 42x squared y squared, but add up to negative xy. This means they need to be like terms. So both of them will have to have an xy in them. Now all we need are two numbers that multiply to negative 42 but add up to negative 1. And the two we're going to use are plus 6 and minus 7. And since it helps us remember what the polynomial is we want to write down next, it is good to actually go ahead and put in the plus and negative 7, or the plus 6 and negative 7 here, so you remember that those become the addition and subtraction in the whole polynomial. When we rewrite this whole polynomial, what we're going to do is take this plus 6xy minus 7xy and put it where the negative xy was in the original. So this is going to give us four terms. 3x squared plus 6xy minus 7xy minus 14y squared. Those four terms are going to be easier to factor than the three we started with. So let me move this up so I have a little bit more room to work with. And we're going to go ahead and take the first two, group them together, and the last two, and group them together. Looking at this first pair, we want the greatest common factor for both of them. You notice both of them can be divided by 3, but they also both have an x in them, so we're going to go ahead and factor out 3x. When we do that, we're going to be left with x plus 2y. Now for my next pair. Remember, this is starting with a negative right here, which means when we factor out the greatest common factor, we're going to factor it out with a negative in it too. Looking at these, what divides them both? Well, negative 7y. When we divide that negative 7y out, the first term is going to become just x, then plus 2y. We need to remember to factor out that negative with the 7, otherwise the sign doesn't stay or doesn't change, and we want this negative here to become a plus right here. That's why we need to factor out the negative. Looking at it now, you notice that x plus 2y is a common factor in both of them, so we are going to go ahead and factor it out. X plus 2y. And we are left with a second factor of 3x minus 7y. So the steps are exactly the same as factoring when it's just x squared x or y squared y. Now that we have both an x squared and a y squared and the xy in the middle, it really doesn't change that much. So this becomes our final answer. And as always, you can go ahead and FOIL it and simplify to see that you get back to the original problem. Hope this helps. Thanks.